All right, thank you guys for coming in. Today, we're going to be talking about something extremely important because when you have an opportunity with a listing, it, it's very important that you leverage each and every one of those opportunities. Part of becoming the listing magnet, someone to move the board, part of becoming a listing magnet is if you leverage the listing properly, it should lead to another listing. Now, it takes a little time, but the more you do, the more people see you, the more your signs are out. Those are billboards. And I'll say this, I'll say it to anyone. I'd rather have 10, 20 billboards around the town than have one big one on the highway. Because the local people will see you here, there, they turn the corner, they see you, the neighbors. That to me is more likely going to get you a listing than putting a billboard on Route 22, the Turnpike, or the Parkway. So all this stuff, guys, is things that I did. For those of you that knew me in my production years, the last year I did probably somewhere between 65 and 70 listings. Never cold call, never door knock, didn't have to send mailers, didn't do anything outbound. It was all inbound because I built a magnet. And that's what I want to share with you guys, how to leverage each listing. I don't care if it's a rental listing or a sale listing. This is the format, this is the blueprint, this is exactly what I did. And sellers were literally calling me saying, hey, I saw your marketing, I saw you sold this house, I saw this, I need help selling my home. So let's start with always use professional photography. Before I started using professional photography, I used to take them myself and I bought a very nice camera and I would do the editing. And then I realized I was spending an hour and a half trying to edit the pictures with the lighting and getting it right. And it's not worth my time. So I just outsourced it all once that light bulb went off and used professional photography. I sold an REO, actually 2 or 3 REOs. Guess what I did? I used professional photography because it's consistent. And rather than a seller, one of the ones was Plainfield, one was Elizabeth, rather than a seller from Plainfield or Elizabeth saying, oh, I don't like this photos and the house is a dump, at least the photos were good quality and they could see, and the description read that it was an REO or distressed property. But always use professional photography. You're marketing towards the next house. You're marketing towards the next seller. And a lot of times we're like, well, this is already sold, I don't need to pay for the photos. Wrong, wrong. When it goes online, you just have that one photo or not enough professional photos. If a seller in that town sees your marketing, what are they going to say? You're not going to be impressed by it. Always do professional photography. Consistently, and I've moved away from this, but I want to get back to, I definitely have gotten back to it for the few deals that I've done. But consistently, I did floor plans. And I love doing floor plans because the New Yorkers would always ask me what was the square footage, and I didn't want to misquote it. So I would say per the photographer, per Home Depot Measures, which was a company I used to use that's no longer around. Home Depot had a separate measurement company that would just do floor plans for $99. It was one of the best tools that I used, but they've subsequently shut it down only for contractors. But you'll see this listing from 2021 has floor plans. And then all the room dimensions are able to be there because of the floor plans. So guys, I separated myself with the floor plans back in the days. The buyers love them. Have buyers ever asked you guys for square footage?
Yes.
Have buyers ever said, do you have a layout or floor
Yes.
plan? Do you think sellers will be excited to see that?
Yes.
Are many agents using them?
No.
Would that separate you from other agents?
Just the square footage.
Bingo. Hold on one second,
So
Adrian.
you have a limit on the house price that you would do that for? Because if you have like $100,000 home, and you get it like $3 grand.
I would love to see where you're getting $100,000 home from because I want to buy it today.
No, right.
But I did it on everything. Maybe not condos, like because it was 4 walls and like so not multiple levels. But I'll tell you, If I went back into production, I would just consistently do it. Because you know what? In a condo building, if there's 3 agents with 3 different listings, how do I separate myself for the next one? So it's consistency. I would consistently do it. Did I probably do it on everything? No. Should I have? Absolutely. And just look at that example. Even on a condo, you have one, I have one, he has one, and she's looking to list hers and she goes online. How do you differentiate? Maybe the floor plan's my edge, especially when units are not the same. Asia, you had a question?
Yes.
Well, all the photographers do floor plans. I used to use a separate company called Home Depot Measures, but they're no longer around. But all your photographers do floor plans, and if not, you gotta move to one that does.
Okay.
But guys, it's here, the room dimensions. This is a beefed up listing. If I could have printed out any other listing in this street, in this town, and you would not have seen it filled in as much because they don't have the floor plans, they couldn't put the room dimensions. So it's something to separate you from other listing agents. It's part of being a magnet. Always write good descriptions. Keep that listing in front of you. Welcome to a stately, classic, one-of-a-kind Central Hall Colonial that boasts 7. I wrote descriptions. I can look everyone in this room in the eye and tell you guys, I've gotten calls from sellers. And when I said, well, how'd you find me? And why did you call me instead of the other agents? I probably had a handful of sellers that said, I love your descriptions and I see that you do it on all your listings. And I hate when I go online and there's nothing about the house. I've gotten listings from writing descriptions. And the funny thing is, I came up with 2 or 3 descriptions and I just use the same ones and I just revise it to the house. Take out the central air, add the balcony, just silly stuff. I used to be an agent in Carl's office and they would make fun of me because my description would be this Pottery Barn inspired home. And then they would look it up and it's like in front of the park, like backs to a cemetery. But I wrote a description that was appealing. My sellers loved the description. I'd send it to them. What do you think about this? They would say it was great. Sometimes they would say, oh, add this or edit this. And I'd have to tell them that there was character limits. I can't write an essay, but write a description. You're marketing towards your next house. And I tried to walk them through the house. Like open concept, but defined rooms. I try to give them a feel of what it would be like. People read them. I was surprised people read them, but people actually read them. So write descriptions. Again, differentiate yourself because most agents are just saying 3 beds, 2 baths, garage. Or what's even worse to me is using acronyms or abbreviations. People don't know what they are. They're not us. Don't do this for other agents. Do it for the consumers that you're marketing towards. One quick sidebar, this is a pet peeve of mine. In directions in the MLS, put between Park Ave and Williams, put between off of Center Street, off of Main Street. It's not that we need real directions, but when you're looking at a listing and you're trying to figure out what part of town it's on, if it tells you it's off of Main Street or off of Park Avenue, you kind of have an idea. But when they just put Google or Google Maps, it's frustrating because now I have to look at the map to see what part of town it's on. We're not really looking for street turns, left, right, up, down. It's just give someone an idea. But let's go back to this. Write good descriptions. Also make sure you personally have a bio. If you can't describe your current listing, how do you think the seller is going to feel that your capabilities of describing their listing? Right? If you can't describe this listing that you're currently marketing, what do you think the seller's going to say? Well, he or she can't write about that. How are they going to write about my home and describe my home? So write descriptions, guys. It is very important. Proofread, spell check. Brochures. It makes sellers happy. Most importantly to me is I got to use these brochures on other listing appointments to showcase my marketing. When sellers come to your open house, they see your marketing, they see your brochures. I have a ton of them here. And why this is super important, not that this brochure is going to sell the house necessarily, but if I went on another listing appointment in Westfield and does anyone think the market's competitive? If I went on another listing appointment in Westfield, now I have this. And I could say, Mr. Seller, here's a sample of my marketing. Look at my description. Here's a sample of my marketing, front to back. Do you think this wows the seller versus an MLS printout that you slide across the table? Oh yeah, I'm gonna market your home. I'm gonna do it all. People want to see. You got to demonstrate. And guys, just to give you perspective of cost and start it, I started out with this, a regular piece of paper, just listed both sides. I think this was delivered whatever amount, like there's a minimum. It winded up being like $55 with all in. Then I upgraded to a one-page quality, right? Quality, again, good description, outlined all the features and benefits. This winded up being, I don't know, $65. Then I said, you know what? I gotta step it up even more. And I went to the bifold, whatever this is called, wrote a full description. This winded up being $80, but it's such a wow factor. Now, if you have a home that doesn't show well, you don't have a lot of great photos, maybe you keep the one page, but you guys have to do this because when you go on another listing appointment, this is your marketing material. These are your tools, and it appeases your seller. Quick tip, never put the price on you. Anyone want to know why?
That's fluctuates.
If you do a price reduction, now what do you think your seller's going to say? Can you get new ones made because we dropped it 25 grand and you're gonna be like, never put a price. Also, here's why. You have towns like Plainfield or Elizabeth, a lot of towns around here where Plainfield, you could be on the low end, 300, you could be 900 on the high end. You don't want these same 300. Actually, this is a true example. So this is Plainfield. I don't remember, but Hunter Avenue, I want to say this probably sold for 3. This sold for 7. So I don't want to put 300 on this if I'm going to go use it on a $700,000 appointment and the price reduction. So don't put prices because prices fluctuate. First Team Title will do these for you guys. There's no cost. They'll do them open houses and these brochures. It's graphs, it's houses of worship, it's school information, houses of worship on the back, school demographics, income. People love this stuff, especially if you have analytical sellers. They eat this stuff up, and it looks like you did all this work. And the First Team Title will do this at no cost and mail it to you. Guys, I will say, and they'll do open house flyers, all that fun stuff, but you guys have to plan. It can't be Friday and you're like, hey, can the title company get me this? That's impossible, impossible. So you got to plan. The staff will tell you the deadlines. I'm not involved with it, but it's something that they turn around in a couple days. And remember, they have to mail it here, unless you want to drive to East Brunswick to pick it up. So you got to give it a couple days. Don't wait till Friday expecting it, and they don't work the weekends. Nor, real quick sidebar, our marketing department doesn't work the weekends as well.
You say they'll do it, like how many?
They'll do, I don't know, you gotta ask the staff. I don't get involved with ordering this stuff. The brochure, they'll give, I think it's 2, but the flyers that come with it, which kind of look the same, there's obviously a lot more. I don't know if it's 25 or 50, ask the staff, they'll help with that.
I know, like, if you do a last minute on Fridays, and they'll send you a link and you can finish yourself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's the option. And then what's the turnaround time for those brochures? Because right now, it seems like we're kind of like under crunch when it comes to sometimes some listings.
I don't know. You gotta ask the staff. They can ask. You can even email it. It's marketing@FTT. Well,
I mean, the
we
one
can.
that you print, the one that you did.
Oh, like these?
Yeah.
I also don't. Listen. I'm not avoiding. I'm not avoiding. I haven't done those in probably 5 years. The staff does it all. When I had a virtual, like, here's the link to the photos, which they get from the photographer, order brochures, take the description from the MLS, send me a proof and order it. So I don't remember the last time I logged in. I did use Express Docs. I do know that. That's the company I use. I don't remember. It could be, it's not crazy. It's less than a week. And I think you could pay for expedited shipping. It's less than a week, but I don't know exact because I haven't ordered them myself in over 5 years. So everyone see the value of brochures. And again, it's not that this is going to sell the house, but it's your marketing towards sellers. And when you have an open house and people come in and see this, they're wowed by it. And when you're going on another listing appointment, you have this. So my goal was to have one for every town, so that when I go on a listing appointment in that town, I had one. So I saved these. Some of those are probably 8, 9, 10 years old.
Well, you obviously say for the town. Will we be wrong not to put the town as the address?
You could, I don't see any harm in that. You could.
You could go with postcards.
You could. I don't see any harm in that. That's a good point, because if it's a town you don't frequent, or you get a listing in Hapakong and that's somewhere you're probably not going to go again, you could do that and just use it as your sample marketing. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Always do an online ad for each listing. And what I mean by ad is a Facebook ad or Instagram ad. And I'll show you which graphic. That is this one. You guys take a quick look at this sheet. You will see every single listing. And if you start, it says new listing 702 Orchard Meadow, new listing 2024 Winmore, new listing 129 Melrose, 909 Irving Avenue Westfield, 304 Denman Road Cranford. Price to sell, 750,000, buyers do this. Great opportunity to purchase, I did a Facebook ad for $10 on, sometimes more, sometimes I stepped it up. But I did $10 on every single listing consistently. Christine's not here, but Christine could tell you, went on a listing appointment with her one day. I was running out for a listing appointment. I was like, hey, come with me. You're not doing anything. She came with me. I asked the guy, where did he find me? Facebook ad. He followed my Facebook business page from a Facebook ad. That guy subsequently gave me 5 referrals. Part of the trick to this ad is you got to pick the target areas. And then when people like the ad, you go in and invite them to like your business page. That was the steps. And what happened over time is, would everyone, is it easier to add friends on Facebook or get people to like your business page?
No,
Friends. People don't want to like because it's an endorsement. I built my business page to 800 organic followers that were mostly all buyers. Through every time I would boost it to Brooklyn, Bronx, Staten Island, Queens, people would like it, the listings. Then I would go in after the ad was done and hit invite to like my business page to each and every one of them. And those were my followers. And I generated dozens and dozens of leads from that because they followed me. And then they would say, hey, I'm looking for this. Do you have any of this? Do you cover this area? Can you help my friend? But it was all from $10 ads. The other benefit to the ads are it showed my sellers what I was doing proactively. And you could pull the data and the metrics from the ad and it would say organically reached 100 people, but through marketing reached 1,200, bless you, reached 1,200 people. My sellers were appeased because they saw that I was reaching out to 1,200 people from my marketing. Full disclosure, I never told them it was a Facebook ad or Instagram ad because I didn't want to downplay it to something simple and easy. And when I did show them screenshots, I would white out the fact that it was a $10 ad. And that was my pitch. My secret sauce with a listing agent was I would say, Mr. Seller, the big difference with me is I do proprietary marketing because I know where the buyers are coming from and I target those buyers direct to drive more traffic to your home, as well as hopefully get the buyer to buy through me direct. And by the way, you list with ABC Realty, red, white, and blue, yellow and gold, pink and purple. It's all the same process. We put it in a multiple listing service. We do open houses. We get professional photography. The big difference is I go above and beyond waiting for other agents to sell your home. And through my proprietary marketing that's targeted to the buyers, I will drive more traffic here. And just the fact that I said that, people were like, wow, what is that? We have it on video. We have it on video. This is recorded. So that was my secret sauce, but I was only able to say that, deliver that, and it was effective because I was doing the ads. $10, guys, on each listing. You're not going to feel it, but you will generate leads from it. I used to email blast listings to all the agents in the area. This was very effective. Actually, as a manager, I helped several agents in a different real estate market, not today's market, sell homes because sometimes, has anyone ever here anyone here ever have a listing, obviously not in this market, that sits out there for 90 days, sitting stale, that's not moving? We literally email blasted all the agents in the MLS, because most agents don't look at the hot sheet. Most agents are reactive to the buyer saying, hey, I'd like to see this home. Okay, I'll book it. They're not saying, hey, I found these 10 homes we need to see. So what I found is by putting it in front of the agent, a lot of times they had a buyer, they just didn't know the house was on the market. Because when they're going through the same search once a week or twice a week, human nature, they would miss it. Or, so there is Zip Your Flyer. That is this page. And you can, it's connected to the MLS, and it shows you on the right-hand side how many agents and how much it costs to do a blast to all those agents. And it tells you on the left-hand side which county, I'm sorry, the center, which counties and MLSs pretty much they'll cover. Essex County, Morris, Sussex, Union, Somerset, Bergen, Passaic. You can do a combination, and it tells you how many agents it's going to hit. Has anyone here ever got a flyer, new listing for some random agent at some random company in some random area, and you're like, why am I getting this? But that's it.
Just like property blast?
Yes. So there's several different companies, but this is one where it gives you the agent and you don't have to upload the data of who the agents are that you're looking for. So that was one of the companies that I used, but I would send this out. We've successfully sold homes. Literally, I remember one in Union with an agent, Robin. She had it listed for 4 months, nothing. She's like, the seller's frustrated. We're not getting any more activity. I can't keep doing open houses. Sent the email blast. That weekend, an agent got the email, set it up, went to see it, made an offer, property sold. And she asked the agent, and it was from the email blast. So it's all the things we should be doing for our sellers. This market, you may not need that as much, but we're not going to be in this market forever, guys. You guys have to do open houses. I did open houses, and a couple of these will attest to that. And look at the signage, how much signage I have. 1, 2, 3 open house signs, plus, you know, my big sign. Guys, if you can, get the T-sticks. Those little ones in the ground, I wouldn't use them. I've never really used them. I bought my own T-stakes, and now I use the bigger post. These fit in my cars as I usually had small 2-seater cars. It breaks down into 2 pieces, fits in the car, but it stands tall and it's easy to see. So, but look, when I did open houses, I had that. You'll also see in one of these pages, I always had a spread, and this is, probably could have done it better. The brochures weren't there. I don't know why, maybe they were in the front, I'm not sure, or in the mail, but I always had something for the clients. Kids are there, they need water, the sign-in sheet, the listing, the seller disclosure, whatever. Have a spread, because the sellers will be coming in that want to compare their home to your listing. And the better marketing you can do, the more you're going to wow the seller and have an opportunity to get in front of the seller. So open houses, guys, it's a way to meet the neighbor. And when you're doing an open house, does everyone know my 5-5-10 rule? Knock on 5 doors to the left, meet neighbors. Knock on 5 doors to the right, meet those neighbors. 10 houses across the street, meet those neighbors. And some of the gold is after you're done, even if I'd rather meet them after the fact, what I would do is mail them or just drop off the flyer. You're invited to my open house. We'd love to meet you. Olivier Lewis. When I'm done the open house, the next day, next weekend, or that day, go knock on the doors and meet them then. Say, listen, we had an extreme amount of activity and we have buyers, multiple offers. So if you're considering selling, now's the time. Even if I don't have offers, I would still go do it and just say, just have great activity. You probably saw the cars and the people outside, but people are looking for something a little bit different. Would you consider selling? Offers or no offers, still go meet the neighbors. So do open houses, promote yourself, and I like after the open house following up. I already covered this. Get pamphlet made from First Team Title that has all the local information. Do Zillow walkthrough videos. This is real, guys. I had this listing. Lionel, who's not here, Lionel sat the open house. It was his first open house. I had 60 people come, and this is about 4 years ago. But you know why? So a lot of agents are doing drone shots. I think they're good in some areas where you have a lot of land and you want to really showcase the property. But when you're on a 25 by 100 lot, I don't see the real value of a drone shot. Because it's just a dense little property, I'm sorry, a small little property lot on a densely populated block. And I don't think that really does a lot of justice because you can't get the house by itself. It's not like you're on 100 by 100. So if you told me to do a drone shot or a Zillow walkthrough video, I will pay for a Zillow walkthrough video time and time again. And this is true. I could give you more examples of this. Everyone look at this. 1,209 views. That was my listing that ranked #1. And look at the other listings. Look at how many views they had. Do you know why? The video. Zillow puts the video on top. I'm sorry. Zillow puts the listing and ranks it higher when you have a video. My photographer did the Zillow walkthrough video. You can actually do it yourself and upload it. It's very complicated. One of those things where it's not worth my time to try to learn it. Let me pay a professional to do it the right way. But I know a couple agents here have done it themselves. But the walkthrough video helped my listing rank high. So what did I do? Sent this to my seller. Olivier, how in the world did you get 100 times the views versus the others? When I went on a listing appointment, what do you think I showed them of my proprietary marketing and how effective it is and how I got 1,200 views versus 286 and 84? Do you see how this is the magnet, guys? Like I didn't pay for the video because the video is going to sell this home. I paid for the video because I know it would make my seller happy. And if the seller knows what I'm doing, when I need to adjust the price, they're not going to challenge me because they know what I'm doing. It's not me anymore. If I'm getting you this amount of views and I'm getting the activity, it's price. But then on a listing appointment, bingo. And this is something you can text your seller or print it out if you're going to sit down with them. But the Zillow walkthrough videos, if you told me do drone, if I'm not in the sticks where I have an acre, half an acre, I could showcase a pool or this amazing backyard, I want the Zillow walkthrough video because it's going to help my listing rank high. And granted, we're in a seller's market, everything's flying off because of the lack of inventory. But when we're back to a normal market, this is the stuff that's going to separate. And also, on a listing appointment, you can tell a seller, look at my listings, I consistently do video. And you have this to show. Without it, what's different from your marketing versus anyone else, right? So do the Zillow walkthrough video. I did incorporate home warranties. I added the rider, and the warranty companies will give you the riders. America's Preferred, what's that one? American Home Shield. They'll give you the riders. What was cool about the riders were obviously buyers would stop and say, oh, there's a warranty. But neighbors coming to your open house, neighbors would ask, I got calls, what's this warranty? What percentage, throw out some numbers, guys, what percentage of people have ever even heard of a warranty when buying a house? Very small amount. So what happens when you're the one putting it on your rider, on your sign? People are like, what's this? They have to ask. Who are they asking you? It starts a conversation that leads to you getting in front of them for a potential listing appointment for other sellers. And when there's a RE/MAX sign with your name, your face, and a rider of a warranty, there's an ABC Realty sign with that agent. They don't have the warranty. And then there's a yellow and purple whatever sign, and they don't have the warranty. Do you think the seller's going to see average? What is that?
When you say
The rider.
what does that look like?
It's just the additional thing that goes on top of the sign or below the sign that just says home warranty. See how this says I'm gorgeous inside? It would just be on top. Okay. Instead of I'm gorgeous inside, it would say home warranty from American Home Shield, American Preferred, or whatever company. That's the rider. But that helped, guys, just to separate yourself from the other agents. And then you can explain to the seller why you do it and the value of it. So we talked about signs. I use the metal T signs that were in that picture. Now I get to post The post I love, it's $58, one-time fee for each listing. That includes the install and removal. And the best part about it, they house all my signs. So I don't have anything in storage. I have nothing nowhere. They have it all. You go online, you put install at 123 Main Street, you pay your $58, they go install it. They'll send you a picture it's installed, and when you're ready to remove it, you go back online and say remove, they go and remove it. You're not involved. Anyone here ever in the winter try to put a sign into the ground? Very hard. There's one agent here that got a very deep injury, I believe had to have stitches from installing a sign.
Yeah.
Was there stitches involved?
Absolutely.
So guys, and just think about your time. Does everyone know what they make an hour in their real estate business? Take what you made last year divided by 2,000 hours. That's what you make an hour. If you're making $100 an hour, why are you going to take an hour of your time at $100 of value to go do something you can pay someone $58 for and sit there and generate more clients in your time? So use professional sign companies. I love that sign company. And if you want to be cost effective, use the tall T stakes. They were inexpensive. I had a ton of them. I probably had 25 before I found that sign company, but it did separate myself as well. Just listed, just sold postcards, guys. They absolutely work. They absolutely work. And now more than ever, people are really competitive for listings, and it's sometimes timing. I don't believe in luck, but I have a saying, opportunity dances with those on the dance floor. If you're on the dance floor, someone may dance with you, but if you're sitting against the wall, no one's gonna come, hey, come out here and dance with me. And it's one of those things of opportunity. If you're sending out the postcards and you're reinforcing it with your marketing and your online presence and you're knocking on doors when you're doing an open house and meeting the neighbors, you have a higher probability of selling. Has anyone seen where a house goes on the market on one street and then it sells and then like 2 or 3 more come on the same street? That's why you're doing it. That is why you're doing it, because it's very likely someone's going to see that comp and say, well, now's my time. And you want to get in front of them. And this is an easy way to get in front of them, because you can't go knock, or most agents won't go door knock 50 houses or 100 houses. So the just listed, just sold, make it part of your marketing. I talked about saving the marketing packages for your future sellers. You have to. Print this stuff, by the way, triple the brochures. I always order the minimum of 50, no matter how nice, whatever. I could always re-up and order again. But I left about 20 in the house and I kept 30. Now, if you had an open house, they might go. So yes, but I always try to keep about half, because if I went on an appointment and the seller says, could you leave this? I want to be able to leave it. And not, oh, it's my only one. But save all this stuff, keep about half, because some will get messed up if you leave them in your car, whatever, but keep half and put half in the house. Do not put the whole stack, because that will encourage people to just grab it all, knowing that that's not going to sell the home anyway. But save all your marketing material. If you're selling a rehab, create a before and after listing package. So it's very simple to do. If they bought it from the MLS, take the before listing, do the client 2-up, which is the half-page report, and then take the after listing, and you can actually check them both, and it comes out on one page, and it shows before and after. When you're meeting with investors, they love to see the before and after. They're even more shocked when you can show them that you source deals from the MLS, because they all want what kind of deals? Off market. But when you can source them from the MLS and show them, got this on the MLS for this, sold it for this. Wait, you got that on the MLS? How'd you do that? Oh, but here's 10 of them I did in the last year. Wait a minute, how is that possible? But that was part of my formula to get investors to listen to me and do it my way. I started dealing with off markets in the last 2 years. Never dealt with off markets because I didn't like them, and I was able to easily source stuff from the MLS. How? I was able to convince them from day one because I had a marketing package. bought on the MLS, sold back from the MLS. And that was probably 80% of my inventory. And the other ones were bought from sheriff sale. I would go to NJATCB, pull the tax record, show that it was sold from the sheriff sale to my guy, and then here's my MLS list. And that was it. So when I met with investors, I had it in a PDF that I could text them, but I also always had it printed in my car and said, here's my last year of flips that I represented with different investors. And they were like, wow, I want to listen with you because you know what you're doing with this. You have experience. So when you are working with investors, you got to do the before and after. Get testimonials from sellers. I did this. It definitely works. I had so many referrals from one investor to another and sellers on the same block. I would start with video testimonials, get them on Google before you get them on Zillow, but Google first and Zillow. And by the way, if they are writing it in Google, you can easily tell them, okay, one more favor, please cut and paste this to Zillow and send them the link. They'll do it. They like you. If you can't get a video, because the videos go so much further, and that's something cool you could put on your website or just have saved and follow up with the seller. You could text the video. But you got to get testimonials. You got to have proof of concept. I probably have 40. I haven't gotten any in 5 years, but when I was selling, I had 40 or so testimonials reviews. And last but not least, social media posts. Some of you are already doing this very, very well, but definitely do the social media posts, new listing, open houses sold. And one strategy for social media posts is make sure you're using the proper hashtags. So this graphic will show you, and there's a big arrow on the bottom, how many likes, or I'm sorry, how many views I got from hashtags. I got 28 views from hashtags. That means if I didn't use the hashtag, 28 people would not have seen it. And what happens is you want to get in front of as many people as possible. And for those that follow hashtag Cranford, hashtag Bloomfield, hashtag whatever town, the more you're posting in your hashtag, they start to see you come up often. And what do you think they're going to do? Visit your profile and then follow you. And that's someone else in your database that can become a client that you can make money with. So you have to use hashtags. And I love Instagram because it can even show you from the hashtag how many people actually followed you from that and visited your page. But the hashtag works. Just don't use the realtor hashtags. No buyer in the history of real estate has ever looked up hashtag real estate. No seller has either. Like, don't use realtor hashtag. Your audience, guys, should be buyers and sellers. You want to connect with agents? Great. That doesn't make you any money in my opinion. I don't need more agents following me. I need more buyers, sellers, consumers following me. So I use the hashtags that are relevant to them.
I got a listing for posting North Realtor.
Yep. That's actually a good one. And I know someone that dominates that one. He's all over it when I looked up that hashtag. And yeah, because someone looking for a realtor in Newark is that's a hashtag they're gonna use.
Right.
But not like real estate in life, not like all the funny ones. You wanna do it great, but I would focus on where the buyers and sellers, what hashtags they're looking at. And you can see, as soon as you start to type the hashtag, it tells you how much activity the hashtag is getting. So you know the numbers right there. So that was my process, guys. And as you can see by all this printed material, I did it. This isn't theory, it worked. And again, the last year of my listings, it was somewhere between 65 and 70 listings I sold without really nothing outbound having to ever get done. It was all referral and inbound calls because I built a magnet. I attracted people because the marketing was consistent and at a high level. And where most agents were not being consistent or based on price point, they would do it. I did it across the board, almost everything all the time. So when the seller saw I had 10 active listings, it was consistent. Because that $200,000 seller doesn't want to see, well, you did it for that one, you're not doing it for this one. Because I'm in that lower price point. So I say consistently do it. And if you're listing a property in Fanwood today, and it's a grandma's house that's dated, and it's like, I don't want to do it. It's not about grandma's house that you're listing. It's about other Fanwood sellers that are going to see how you're marketing that and trying to get them to pick up the phone and call you and separate you from the other agents. Cool. Any questions on how to leverage a listing? Do you guys see how this works if you do it all? And it's not one of these things, it's just all of them combined. And a lot of this stuff, guys, even with the floor plans, it separates you from other agents. It does. And it's just that little edge, that little bit of a differentiator that you sometimes need to get that seller to call you versus someone else. It's not rocket science, it's just consistency. And there's no magic pill, but there is a pill of showing that you're different. And it's hard because there's no reinventing the wheel, but it's all these little things people aren't doing that you need to do. And it will add up, right, over time. You go to the gym for 4 or 5 hours, you're gonna look in the mirror and not see results. You go to the gym every day for 30 minutes for a month, you'll see results. So it's not the 4-hour, I'm gonna do this calling marathon and I'm gonna call expires and physicals for 4 hours today. That's not gonna move the needle. It's doing it consistently every day and you're gonna get better at it. And it takes time. So great. I'm going to stop this.